There is a kind of silence that falls just before everything changes. This is that silence. To survive, the hunted must be lucky every time. The hunter must be lucky only once. The wild does not forgive a moment of carelessness, and the hunters are always waiting for one. For a brief moment, the last traces of night remain visible beside the coming day. The sky brightens long before direct sunlight reaches every part of the ground. Across the open plains, sunrise can be seen from far beyond the immediate landscape. Trees catch the sunlight at their highest branches before the trunks below are illuminated. The morning sun gradually moves downward through the canopy. Each tree becomes a landmark as the landscape returns to view. Dust in the air catches the sunrise and creates a soft golden haze. The savannah passes through many shades before reaching full daylight. A distant movement may appear only as a shadow against the bright horizon. With few barriers, light travels freely over the savannah. Valleys and low areas remain in shadow, while higher ground warms first. Leaves change from dark shapes into clear patterns of green and gold. The broad sky gives sunrise an immense and uninterrupted stage. The natural brightness grows until the stars disappear completely. Under cover of darkness, the balance between predator and prey shifts once again. Fire can destroy feeding grounds, yet it may later encourage fresh growth. Shapes become harder to identify, and every sound seems closer. Hunger, thirst, and exhaustion may continue to shape every movement. Yet the return of light offers another opportunity to find what is needed. The herd relies more heavily on hearing and scent. There are no easy seasons, only periods of greater or lesser hardship. For life on the savannah, persistence is often the difference between survival and defeat. Safety is often created through shared awareness. Abundance brings competition, while scarcity brings difficult choices. Rain can renew the land, but storms may also bring danger. Most animals must carefully choose when to challenge and when to withdraw. A new day does not erase yesterday's difficulties. As the sun moves across the sky, conditions on the plains change. By midday, heat can slow even the strongest animals. Late afternoon offers another chance to travel or feed before darkness arrives. Night brings cooler temperatures, but also reduced visibility. Morning may bring cooler air and active feeding. Rest must be balanced against the need to remain alert. Even while some individuals sleep, others may continue watching. At dawn, the landscape slowly becomes visible again. The animals that survived the night return to their familiar routines. This balance helps maintain order within the group. In nature, loss and renewal are often part of the same process. Change is not always purely destructive or beneficial. Their intelligence runs deep, hidden behind a calm and watchful face. They keep their vigil without rest, for the plain rewards no carelessness. Watchfulness is not a habit for them, it is a way of life. They think in a language older than ours, and they think well. The hunters fail far more often than they succeed, and they endure it. Nothing on the plain escapes their notice for long. They know hunger and hardship, and the long, uncertain wait. A hunter's life is a long negotiation between risk and reward. They are always watching, even at their most at ease. Cunning is the hunter's hidden weapon, sharper than any claw. To be a hunter is to live in a constant state of readiness. They watch the world with the eyes of ones who know exactly what to look for. Even in stillness, the hunters are watching, always watching. They read the plain constantly, alert to the smallest sign. For all their power, their lives are far from easy. They live at the edge of hunger, one hunt away from want. In them, power and grace are woven into a single striking form. There is a terrible beauty in them, hard to watch and harder to look away from. They are beautiful in the way that truth is beautiful without apology. Theirs is a hard life, marked by more hunger than plenty. The plain keeps no promises, even for the strongest of hunters. Their days are hard, their odds are long, and still they endure. Nothing is guaranteed to them, not even by their strength. They pay for every meal in effort and often in failure. Their whole lives are lived on watch, alert to every change. The hunters miss little and forgive nothing. On clear days, the sky seems to expand far beyond the earth below. Rain often approaches from far beyond the visible horizon. Clouds can cast broad shadows that travel steadily across the grass. These moving shadows create temporary islands of coolness. Sunlight reveals every contour, while shade softens the details. A sudden downpour may fill hollows that had been dry for months. Early light brings out pale greens, silvers, and muted golds. Toward evening, the grasslands deepen into warmer and richer tones. The sky and the grassland are inseparable parts of one vast composition. Dark clouds can gather over dry ground long before the first drop falls. Thunder rolls across open country with little to block its path. Rain strikes the plains unevenly, leaving some places drenched and others untouched. Brief storms can have lasting effects on the land. The savannah depends not only on how much rain falls, but where and when it arrives. One region may flourish, while another waits under the same sky. A single cloud may change the color of the plains within seconds. Each stage of the day offers a different interpretation of the same land. Later in the day, stronger light sharpens every contrast. The savannah is continually redrawn by light. After sunset, color gives way to shape and silhouette. The scent of moisture may arrive before the storm itself. In low places, temporary pools can form almost overnight. This patchwork of rainfall creates a patchwork of growth. Water spreads across compacted ground before slowly sinking into the soil. They settle and chew and wait, patient as the land beneath them. The mud dries on their coats, a crust of quiet, hard-won comfort. They roll in the dust, coating themselves against the flies and the heat. A good roll in the dry earth is one of the plain's simplest pleasures. They rub against one another, easing the itch of dust and biting flies. They rub and roll and wallow, doing what they can against the biting flies. A flick, a shudder, a swish of the tail, the endless war against the flies. They shake themselves, and a haze of dust drifts off upon the wind. They groom each other gently, reaching the places they cannot reach alone. A cloud of dust marks where one has thrown itself down to roll. They cake themselves in earth, and the flies retreat, at least for a while. A dust bath is a small mercy in a world of heat and pests. A roll in the dust, a shake, and they rise renewed and coated grey. They ease their itches together, heads bowed against one another's sides. They wade into the mud and wear it like armor against the sun. They wallow in the cool mud, sighing with the simple relief of it. A herd at rest seems almost to melt into the plain around it. They tend their coats with dust and mud and the patient help of the herd. They scratch an itch against a neighbour's flank, and the favour is returned. A dust bath rises around them in a soft brown cloud. They scratch and rub and roll, tending their coats in the only way they know. They coat themselves in dust and mud and wear the plain upon their skin. They rub their heads and flanks against whatever the plain provides. They take their ease in the grass, but the ease is never quite complete. After the flames pass, new shoots may emerge from branches or from the base of the trunk. Every scar in the bark is part of the tree's history. Fire removes old growth and creates space for sunlight to reach the soil. The savannah enters a quieter phase, but the trees remain active in hidden ways. Leaves may fade, curl, or fall as trees reduce water loss. Heat may blacken trunks and remove lower branches, leaving the land dramatically altered. Fire is another force that helps shape vegetation across the savannah. Some plants protect themselves with thick bark, small leaves, or thorns. Low branches may be removed by feeding animals, wind, or fire. In time, a blackened landscape may become a place of rapid renewal. During dry conditions, flames can move quickly through old grass and fallen leaves. Roots below the ground may remain unharmed even when the surface is burned. Destruction and recovery are closely connected in this environment. These features reduce damage and help conserve water. Weather on the savannah is defined by contrast. The shape of each tree reveals the pressures it has faced over many seasons. Cool mornings can give way to intense heat within only a few hours. Wide crowns develop where light is abundant and competition is limited. Twisted trunks record years of exposure to changing weather. Thick bark can protect living tissue from the heat. Yet many savanna trees are adapted to survive periodic fire. The dry season arrives gradually, rather than all at once. They rise upon the warmth of the plain, borne aloft without effort. A solitary bird calls into the silence and waits for an answer. They journey thousands of miles and arrive exactly where they must. A lone flyer drifts across the plain following no one. They cross vast distances guided by the sun, the stars, the pull of the earth. They carry a map within them, drawn by instincts older than thought. A single bird crosses the empty sky, small and alone against the vast. They travel farther than any of us and always find their way home. They use the wind rather than fight it, and so they fly for hours. One wing against the whole wide sky, it goes where it will. They navigate by signs we cannot see, faithful to an ancient route. One bird sits apart, watching the world from its solitary perch. Something calls them onward, and they follow it across the world. The currents of the air are a map only the birds can read. They come and go with the seasons, faithful to a rhythm older than memory. They follow paths no one taught them, written deep in the blood. The urge to travel wakes in them, and they answer without question. They vanish when the season turns, and return when it turns again. Across half the world they travel, and never lose their way. Their journeys span continents, and their sense of the way never fails. A gust catches them, and they ride it upward, delighted. They shelter from the wind in the lee of a tree, waiting for calm. Across the savannah, water often appears as a bright interruption in an otherwise dry landscape. These small openings can remain important long after nearby pools have vanished. Where the ground remains damp, the savannah reveals a softer and more fertile side. Each pool reflects the sky while supporting a hidden world beneath the surface. Seasonal wetlands expand and contract like breathing spaces within the grassland. Some water runs quickly across the surface, while some disappears slowly into the earth. Moisture stored below ground can continue supporting life after the surface has dried. Green vegetation can mark the path of moisture even when no open water is visible. Curving channels show how water avoids obstacles and reshapes them over time. Water hidden beneath the soil often determines which plants survive the longest. Natural springs reveal places where underground water finds a path back into daylight. The river is always rebuilding its own edges. Every bend slows the current and creates new places for sediment to settle. The shape of a river can reveal years of erosion, flooding, and gradual change. Sandbanks emerge, disappear and return as water levels rise and fall. Every drop that reaches the ground begins a journey shaped by gravity, soil and heat. The calmest water can still be part of a much larger and more active system. Water collects in low places, following the oldest contours of the land. The presence of water changes the temperature, texture and movement of the surrounding environment. A narrow stream can influence life far beyond the limits of its visible banks. Sunset settles over the African savannah, softening the land beneath a deepening sky. As the sun lowers, the horizon becomes the brightest edge of the landscape. Warm colour spreads across the grasslands before slowly giving way to shadow. Long shadows extend from trees, rocks, and moving animals across the open ground. The open sky gives sunset an enormous stage across the savannah. The final light of day stretches across the plains in long bands of gold and amber. The savannah changes character as daylight begins to fade. The heat of the day starts to loosen its grip as evening approaches. A cooler atmosphere returns while the sun sinks toward the horizon. The land appears calmer as the brightness of midday fades away. At sunset, familiar shapes become silhouettes against the fading light. Sunset creates a brief pause between the demands of day and the uncertainty of night. The last rays of sunlight reveal the contours of the land with unusual clarity. Even a single tree can become a striking figure against the evening light. Every passing minute changes the balance between light and darkness. The plains seem to hold the final warmth of the sun before darkness arrives. Clouds near the horizon catch the final colors before the day disappears. The sky deepens in color as the plains grow quieter below. Grass, dust, and distant hills take on richer tones in the evening glow. The low sun turns the horizon into a wide field of copper and red. Here, the story never truly closes, it only pauses and begins again. The earth holds all its children close and lets none of them be lost. Life passes through this ancient world like a breath, and the world breathes on. The wild keeps its peace, deep and unshaken, through all the turning years. The great story rolls onward, indifferent to us, and richer for its own vast age. The seasons keep their faith, and life keeps its course, and the whole endures. The great wheel needs no hand to turn it, and never has. The wild carries on, ancient and serene, as it has since the first dawn. The land asks nothing, forgives everything, and endures beyond us all. Every ending here is only a doorway to another beginning. Here, the ordinary miracle of survival repeats day after patient day. Life persists across this timeless land as it always has and always will. The wild remains, unbroken and free, when all our watching is done. What endures is not the creature, but the current of life that carried it. What we leave behind, the land will quietly reclaim and make new. The land keeps turning slow and sure through everything the world can bring. Life gives way to life, endlessly, and the great chain is never broken. Every creature here belongs to a story that will never need an end.